Hey Dan, how you doing this morning?
Hey, great, Mike. Thanks again for having me back, man. Appreciate it.
Wrestling season's underway. I'm sure you're busy keeping WrestleStat up to date. So fans, if you need to see any results, WrestleStat is the place to go.
We got them all for D1 and D2, so please come on over.
Before we get into reviewing a little bit about some Jersey, especially Princeton matches, I just wanted to talk a little bit and get your take on this. We've had some big stuff like DeSanto dominating Seth Gross. To
Yeah,
me, I don't know if Gross was cutting weight. I had heard that weight was not a problem for him, but the way DeSanto manhandled him was a little surprising to me. What do you think?
well, yeah, DeSanta looked like he was on a mission. I mean, to take down Gross three times and really didn't look to be in trouble at all in that match. Probably could have got called maybe for stalling on bottom a little bit more, but I think DeSanto wrestled a great match and did what he had to do to win. Uh, I think he's still going to have to work on getting out from bottom on Gross
Yep.
because they'll see each other again,
Yep.
and whether or not he's able to take Gross down three times in a match will be yet to be seen. But DeSanto, take nothing away, did an incredible job, earned that number one ranking now from all the publications, and really just a great job by him. Came in and seeing how he reacted during the match and after the match really was a great sign as well
Right.
to seeing his maturity. So
Yeah.
that was a great sign as well, and that should be mentioned.
I was talking with a friend of mine, and the one thing that I think Gross has in his favor is of all the guys wrestling at D1 right now, DeSanto might be the most important to get the feel of what he is like before the championships.
Correct.
Because he's got that vice grip, and
Oh, yeah.
when you're not ready for it, if you have not felt it, like that's just a little bit, it's unusual.
Yeah. Yeah, and he hit that fireman's on him. He didn't finish with the fireman's, but he hit it on him, and he finished the takedown.
Yeah.
It was a great job with it. So
Yeah.
it'd be important for Seth to get that feel and probably see it again in the Big Tens, and then probably in the NCAA. So
And the other thing that was kind of interesting about that is, and we'll talk a little bit about it when we're talking about Princeton versus Oklahoma State and Iowa, but the separation at the top, right? Iowa, won nine dual bouts. Wisconsin won one, and that's 1 versus 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I know I've talked to Coach Chris Ayers about it. Getting to the top 10, top 20 is easy. The final climb is the hard part.
yeah, that's for sure. I mean, yeah. Wisconsin, I think we're a top 5 ranked team going into this match, and it was all Iowa. Being a Jersey guy and do a lot of Jersey stuff, I was happy to see the one Jersey guy for Wisconsin win, so that was nice. Johnny Sebastian
Right.
get the win there.
Through all those injuries, transfers, and he looks like he's as good as he's ever been right now.
He does. I think he's going to be on a big pitch count this year. He certainly hasn't wrestled all the matches that Wisconsin has, but they're going to try to keep him healthy, which would be a good thing for him. So
Yeah, for him. Yeah, absolutely. Like that guy. I've got to talk to him a couple times, and the thing that's amazing is he's had so many injuries, and he has not lost his desire.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
A really good kid.
Yeah.
Good kid. And I think the Big Ten Network said I think he had 4 or 5 surgeries on that shoulder since he's been
It's insane.
in college.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, at the professional level, you hear NFL athletes after a few surgeries, sometimes it just takes it out of them. And this guy, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but to work through it like that that's impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
Another interesting thing is Penn State's dual. Back to Iowa. I'm in the southeastern Pennsylvania. All my friends I talk to, Iowa has more Pennsylvania high school starters than Penn State has this year, and they all like to say that it's showing. But just something that I find to be interesting, and I don't know if you have any thoughts about it.
No, I mean it is funny to see. I mean, and I listen to a lot of podcasts throughout the day, wrestling podcasts. So it might have been, I want to give him credit, the Inside Trip was mentioning just that, how if Iowa is able to overtake Penn State this year, how they'll do it with mostly Pennsylvania wrestlers. And I think they were just saying how really Kale should have been sending Vincenzo Joseph and a few of those other guys, Nolf, over to the Young Guns Club and making sure they got all these guys. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, Brands came in, having stripped him out of there, I'm sure helped. But he really did a great job recruiting those Young Guns kids.
Absolutely. And Iowa, I mean, 5 years ago, nobody in Jersey would think Iowa would wrestle Princeton at home. Right?
No.
And here it is. So they, not only are they coming for Pennsylvania, they're coming for Jersey kids. And,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wrestling, Coach Ayers didn't want to have such a nasty back-to-back. So Oklahoma on Friday night,
Yeah.
Iowa Saturday or Sunday during the day. But you take Iowa when you can get them. And that's what worked out. But that's good.
Princeton says that anyone, anytime, any place.
Yep.
They're going to show that this week. Traveling to Oklahoma State and then coming back home for Iowa. That's a tall task.
The other thing is Penn State's dual streak ended this year at Arizona State. A little bit's been talked about. Penn State missing some people, and I've capped a little bit on Arizona State, saying it's kind of like they're the Dolphins of the NCAA wrestling world. There's so many distractions. There's such nice weather that can you get a group of kids, boys at that age, to be focused, and they look pretty good. I was not expecting that kind of performance from them.
No, they really did. I've been out to actually Arizona now probably 3 times over the last 4 years, and I love it out there with Arizona State. Just to check out the campus, bring my kids there and stuff. And I love it out there, man. I do. And if I was a kid that was a highly recruited kid, I would certainly give Arizona State a look because it's incredible out there. And I like more of the north up in Sedona, Grand Canyon, Flagstaff area, but Phoenix, Tempe area gets real hot during the summer, but it's incredible out there. So I don't blame a kid for going out there.
The last thing I'll say about that is that the dual streak is probably harder to put together when you look at the history of dual streaks. Because one, it's not necessarily a goal, and since the reduction of scholarships, it's no easy task. And I think it also speaks to parity. I've been to several duels. I think it was Oklahoma State Lehigh. Was it Princeton and no? There'd been 3 criteria wins with top 10 teams already this year.
Yeah,
things are tight.
So I like going in and seeing if there's 2 matches left, if there's going to be a tie. Checking track because they have a little thing that gives you a tiebreaker, and it's nice to see like, okay, if this happens, they're going to win, blah blah blah. So I mean, I've been doing that a lot more this year than I have in the past. So,
interesting.
Trying to see who's going to win the tiebreakers if it goes down to it.
I'm gonna have to do that because I'll be sitting Matt's side. Like the last match was Pitt and Lehigh, and I'm like, I think it's down to points scored right in the duel, but I'm not sure. And I didn't know track had a shout out to track.
Sometimes I won't mention names, but I go to the Rutgers matches, and there'll be times where a coach will text me on, hey, who's going to win? Who's got the tiebreaker here? And I'll get it. I'll find it for him and text it back to him. So
that's funny. Yeah. That's funny. Well, they know where to go. Well, how about we jump into the first match coming up on Friday night? Oklahoma State versus Princeton, and Princeton's traveling out to Oklahoma. Princeton knocked off Lehigh. What does WrestleStat have them ranked at?
So as a dual team, I think we have them as 10th right now. And if you break that down even into the EIWA, we have them number 1 as far as the team goes. And again, that's for dual. Tournament's a little different. I think we have them down probably more in the 17, 18 range. But so this is a dual, so we'll worry about the duals there. We have them 10th right now, which is a very, very a very good ranking. It's a good team. Now, dual rankings, Oklahoma State is certainly ranked higher than them. So I think we have Oklahoma State 7th. So it's certainly not not that far off, but on paper it looks like it should be a good duel. But I think the matchups kind of, I think you agree, favor Oklahoma State by if things go the way they should as it looks on paper. It could be score-wise, it could be a lopsided score, but it could have been a pretty good dual meet to watch.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, right off the bat at 25, Pat Glory versus Nick Piccinini. We've seen this match before,
Yep, three times.
three times, and Piccinini has a pin, I think, and I think he has 2 wins.
Very good. Yeah.
And regular decisions. Last year at Princeton, I thought Glory had the edge from neutral, and then Piccinini got on top and put a ride on him.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Glory has looked tremendous so far this year. I'm not sure he's had a ton of tough matches. Like
Right.
the Paetzel match, going into sudden victory kind of caught me off guard. I think Brandon Paetzel from Lehigh has gotten better, but I was still a little surprised that went into sudden victory.
I was as well, and actually as a common opponent, Piccinini wrestled Paetzel this year on November 16th, and he beat him 11-3. So that's an indication. I listen. Pat Glory is certainly a All-American. Last year he will be. I certainly assume he'll be again this year. He's right up there with the best of them. Piccinini's probably just a little bit better at this point still, and I would pick Piccinini to win the match, but I would not be surprised at all if Glory could come away with it. But we have to see if he's improved enough on bottom against the better guys we saw last year against Spencer Lee. And like you said, Nick Piccinini, he had some tough times down there.
I agree. The key, I think, for Glory is being able – I think he is able to get in on Piccinini, but he hasn't been able to finish. And I think that's one of the keys, too, is getting out from underneath. And, the way Piccinini dominated Paetzel, not that Oklahoma State needs bonus points, but that would be a statement if he can do that. I think the pin, I have not seen the pin from last year, so I don't know if it was in a scramble situation or if it was just from grinding on top.
I don't remember that either, but it was what we show on WrestleSide. It was 5 minutes, 29 seconds, so certainly later in the match. I will say in the other 2 matches that Piccinini beat Glory, Piccinini scored 9 points in both of those matches. So he's definitely turning. He's getting some turns on top. I wouldn't be surprised if the pin was just Piccinini coming up on top and doing a good job of turning him and getting the pin. But, that's speculation because I don't remember that either. Too many matches happened since then.
Going up to 133, I think Princeton's going to be wrestling Sean Pearson, I think.
I don't know who was going to be there, if Ty Agassi was back or not. He hasn't wrestled since the Princeton Open where he got hurt again and medically forfeited out. So I would guess we're not going to see him. But to your point, I don't know who we would see from Princeton at this point. Sean Pearson, we had him at 25. He wrestled the Princeton Open at 25.
Yep. Wrestled
the dual meet at 33 against Nick Farrow. So again, I would expect to see him there. It's I'm assuming Ty Agassi is not back in the lineup.
That's my guess as well. I did not talk to Coach Ayers about it, and I know that they had health concerns. So, and then for Oklahoma State, I'm assuming it's going to be Reese Whitcraft, and he's highly touted. The thing that I didn't see, but I had friends watch, was his loss to Chandler Olson versus Drexel the night before.
I watched the match.
You did, and that was the night before the Lehigh match, and that just was a little bit of a head scratcher. Olson has some good matches. I think he got banged up last year, but he was not very highly ranked, and it wasn't a close match. I think it was 2 takedowns and an escape. A friend told me.
Yeah, 5-1. So,
5-1. And then he just rode Whitcraft. So I don't Pearson, if he is bumped up, I don't know if he's going to be competitive. But it's going to be a curious match. During the Lehigh match, Coach Ayers put in Grant Como, took out Tianson, and it was the right button at the right time.
Sure.
I wonder if he's got a plan for this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you, I haven't spoke to him. I feel it's unfortunate. It's just a weight that they're going to be in trouble. Correct me if Princeton had another guy there, but I guess he left the team.
Yep. Gomez was there last year.
Gomez, right,
yeah,
right.
Wrestled tough, and I don't see him on the roster this year.
Well, and I think he started on the roster, but I mean, he didn't wrestle, but I don't think he. I agree. He's no longer on the roster,
Yeah.
so that's unfortunate because I think he's a kid that was a gamer last year. He wrestled in the EIWAs. He had one win in the EIWAs. 8-15 on the year, but he's probably would have been a better option than Pearsall coming up to wrestle. So
I agree with you. I don't know if he's taken a gap year.
correct. Yeah.
I never look at the student directory.
No,
I'm not that serious. But again, this is, I think it's Oklahoma State's to get bonus points at this point at 33.
And it's a weight that, is probably one of their weaker weights at this point. I think with Kraft is going to, he's going to do well having this year under his belt. So by the end of the year, he might be a lot better, but I think it's a weight class this a month into the season that, that Princeton, if they have a good guy there, might be able to steal one like Drexel did. So.
Exactly. And that's exactly what Princeton needs. Is to be able to steal some of these matches here where it could be a toss-up or at least on paper. Going up to 41, Pat Darcy versus Caden Gefeller.
I wonder if we might see Marshall Keller, though, here. I don't know. It's just Keller did wrestle against Lehigh.
Yep.
We haven't – I think we saw Darcy wrestle in the Princeton Open. He went 2-2. But we haven't seen him since then.
Okay.
So it's one of the two others. It's one of those two, but I feel like I think it's going to be Keller's weight the rest of the year myself. That's what I believe. So.
I liked his attitude last year. He let it fly. He was aggressive and he competed hard in every match that I saw. So I don't know if it it's going to be that'll be interesting going up against Gefeller, who I am not like what. He is not. Has he competed this year at all? No.
No, but he's a guy that's coming down from 149 qualifier last year. He was having a great year last year. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he beat Koladzic in the dual meet?
You know what? I think he may have won.
He
by
did.
A point, right?
No. I'm sorry.
No,
he did not beat Koladzic in the dual meet. He lost to Koladzic. And then the next day he lost to Ashenall. So
that's it.
Right. For some reason, I don't know. That was bad on my part. But but he's good. He's that good. Let's face it. Again, last year qualified for nationals, but then went 0-2. So it's not. So now he's down a weight class. Is that better for him? Worse for him? We'll see what the cut does. But like you said, he hasn't wrestled yet this year. So will we see him there?
Yeah. So Dusty Hone has wrestled a couple matches. Wrestled the Lehigh match. Beat Pomrinka, I think, by a point when I was there. And the Keller-Hone match, I think that would be an interesting match. It might not be the most highly ranked guys, but they'll wrestle. So
and it's a match that Princeton could certainly win.
Yeah. So if it's those two, I see it as a toss-up. If it's Gefeller, obviously, it's looking like it's bonus points. If his weight cut is good and his gas tank is good. And right now it seems like Oklahoma State has had a little trouble with weight. I know there's been some rumors about people's grades and Coach Smith talking about this and that. He was not talking to the media after the Lehigh match. So I did not get a chance to actually have a conversation with him. But I'll be looking forward to a Keller-Hone match just because it's two guys are similarly ranked. And I think that, that'd be, it's a toss up and it makes it for an interesting duel. So
it does, absolutely. Yep.
Going up to 49, Mikey D'Angelo and Boo Llewellyn. Interesting matchup. They're closely ranked. I don't know what does WrestleStat have them at?
So I'm looking at it, D'Angelo at 18, Llewellyn at 10. But I'm going to be honest, our rankings will hurt D'Angelo in that he did not wrestle last year on a Division I roster. So any matches he did get, we don't give him credit for because he wasn't on the D1 roster. I think it's actually a good match. One of the two better matches of the night, I would think, to be honest with you. I think D'Angelo will certainly be in the match. We have the match as 8-7 for Llewellyn at WrestleStat. But so that tells you how close these two guys really are.
and I think they're both undefeated, and this should be one of the marquee matchups. Two guys ranked around in the top 15 going at each other. So um, Llewellyn, I think last year, I only saw him wrestle Jimmy Hoffman this year. But
Mm-hmm.
last year I saw him, and he looked a little more aggressive. I don't know if it was the weight cut versus Lehigh or Hoffman is looking good. But I thought there was more offense coming out of him. D'Angelo had the gap year last year, and looked to me like he really improved some of his scrambling positions and some of his crazy positions that he could get into. So it should be an entertaining match. I mean, I guess Llewellyn probably has a slight edge right now, but I would list it kind of as a toss-up.
I would as well. They both guys have wrestled Jimmy Hoffman this year. Llewellyn beat him 4-0, and D'Angelo beat him 6-5. So that's a common opponent they both had, and like a week apart too. So it's certainly a good measuring stick there. And I checked a little further. Llewellyn we have as 7, and D'Angelo we have as 11. So it's pretty close in ranking.
Good stuff. And we'll get to see how good both of those guys are after this match.
Yep.
D'Angelo could make a little bit of a statement because he's been gone for a year, and
now he's down a weight as well, a weight that he hasn't seen in years.
Yep.
With Kolodzic in the lineup. So.
Exactly. Yeah, and he didn't seem like he was suffering too much at the Princeton Open with the weight. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's a better weight for him.
Yep. Yeah. 57. We have the sons of two OSU, legends, I guess. We got Wyatt Sheets versus Quincy Monday. Quincy's putting together a pretty good year for himself. It was his true sophomore year. Sheets, last year, as a freshman, he had a pretty good season. His best win was probably over Josh Humphreys, but this year he got majored by Humphreys.
Mm-hmm.
Monday lost to Humphreys last year, and this year he's beaten him twice. I think he's in the top 10, probably top 5-ish. And I just like his range right now. Quincy Monday's got a real reach to him that if you haven't gotten a feel of how long he can grab, I don't want to say it's the same as Ed Ruth, but he can reach around to an ankle from a position that most guys are not ready to experience. And all of a sudden he's just behind him. And he's gotten really quick scrambles down, especially in the Humphreys matches. Thoughts?
Yeah, he's fun to watch. Quincy Monday is a fun guy to watch. Exciting wrestler, like you said, beat Humphreys twice this year. And, Sheets honestly almost lost by Tekken. It was a 16-2 match. So, this is actually the one match that WrestleSet has Princeton winning. I still think that they could win 97 and a couple of others as well. But this is one that we have Quincy Monday winning the match. We got him ranked 5th, Quincy Monday, so we got him. We're pretty high on him, and I think most people know our rankings are computer rankings, so it's not like we're putting our opinions into that. Right. So our computers, I should say, like him a lot. So, but I do as well, and exciting to see that I'm here in Jersey, get to watch him. So.
Absolutely, and as as the coaching staff said, Quincy's got that gold medal blood. So
for sure.
All right, so I'm taking Monday on that. Now the thing that I think that people might look for from Monday is, can he start turning on some bonus points?
Sure.
And that'll be interesting to see because Sheets is a quality dude, and it'll be an interesting match. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm taking Monday on that.
Same here.
65. I'm not sure for Princeton if it's going to be Dale Tianson or Grant Cuomo. Cuomo got the nod versus Lehigh and had a win over Meyer. 65 for OSU will most likely be Travis Whitlake. Whitlake is certainly is a freshman, redshirt freshman. I'm not sure I'm guessing you guys have him ranked in the top 20. He's a blue chip recruit, and he's having a pretty good freshman year.
Yeah, he's having a pretty good year. If I'm looking at his, I'm stalling trying to find his actual ranking. We have, he's 7-0. We have him at 23rd, but like you said, being only a redshirt freshman, he doesn't have the matches that a lot of other guys have. We do have a common opponent in these two guys. They both wrestled this year. Well, Brian Meyer from Lehigh, actually a Jersey guy, and Whitlake beat him 3-1. And Cuomo, I should say I'm going with Cuomo as the starter here. Cuomo's beat him 4-2. So I think yes, you're right. It could be either one of those guys, but I'm thinking Cuomo might get the nod here.
I agree with you, and I think it'll be an interesting match unless Whitlake opens up his motor. Some matches I feel like he turns it on, and some he doesn't. Versus Jarrell. He looked like he had it on last year during his redshirt year. Sometimes it would be on, sometimes it would be off.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Meyer, I was Matt's side. It was a travel weekend for them. I don't know if it was the weight. He is pulling a lot of weight to get down to 65. So
yeah, and it was weighing in 2 days in a row. He had to weigh in at Drexel, then come back and weigh in at Lehigh. So I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
But so. With Cuomo having that win over Meyer, I think it's more. This will tell us a little bit more about Whitlake than possibly Cuomo. But I'm taking Whitlake. But if it's close, I think that's almost a win for Cuomo. He's not nationally known, right? This guy is
certainly not. Certainly not.
And Whitlake as a pretty blue chip recruit coming in, when you're wrestling the best, you got to look for kind of some, if you're not getting the victory, some moral victories or emotional victories.
Yeah, I don't know if the Princeton coaches would agree with that.
I'm sure they won't, and that's why they gotten their team so good. I'm just a armchair guy.
Exactly. Well, you and me both.
Going up to 74. I think it's going to be Kevin Parker for Princeton. Oklahoma State has been wrestling Shomers. We have not seen Joe Smith. Word is he's going to 84, but. Last year he made 65, so 74 ruled out. I don't know.
Well, I would say this. I thought for sure going into the season he would be the 74 starter. Now, I think it was mentioned that he, for some reason, they weighed him in at the Lehigh match, and he weighed 185. He got a 1 pound allowance because it was 2 days in a row.
Yep.
So for some reason they weighed him in at 180. He weighed 185. So with that descent plan, he wouldn't be eligible if he is even going down to 174. He wouldn't be eligible for another couple of weeks to make 174. So the odd thing there is you didn't wrestle him that day anyway. So why even weigh him in? Because if you don't weigh him in, he could make the descent.
Totally.
But once it's officially weighed in, you have a 1.5% each week that you could lose. So he can't come down. So it was an odd thing, I certainly don't know as much as John Smith, but Joe, so
yeah,
I'll assume he was maybe sending a message to JoJo. So we will. I would say we'll definitely see Andrew Shomers at 174, and I also believe it'll be Kevin Parker and Stefanik going up to 84 this year. That's what we saw at the last duel for
exactly.
Princeton.
Yeah, kind of flip flopping. So Parker should be bigger at the weight class, and. I've seen them both. They both had the common opponent in Jordan Cutler, right?
I love Cutler this year, man.
Yeah,
wow.
Looking good, Jersey stud. Tough match coming up versus Mark Hall. But going back to this, if it's Shomers versus Parker, two guys who I consider kind of equals, and it's kind of a toss-up right now.
It's a toss-up. It's certainly a toss-up. Shomers had qualified for Nationals 2018. I believe that Parker has also qualified in last year, 2019. So, these guys, and Parker, as you said, was up a weight, so down he's a little bit bigger now. Definitely a toss-up. It's a match Princeton would have to have. They have to get a match like this.
Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. Going up to 84, we already talked about Travis Stefanik going up, and if it's not Joe Smith, Anthony Montalvo has been there. He wrestled the Lehigh match. Again, these guys both wrestled Chris Weiler, I believe, and Montalvo was losing to Weiler until Weiler I don't know if he was coming back from a flu, but he just kind of gassed and got pinned.
Yeah.
And Stefanik, I think, lost to Weiler. So, I think
11-4.
11-4. So I think it's going to be a competitive match because I don't think Montalvo would have pinned Weiler had he not almost passed out. So it's another toss-up match to me. And, Stefanik is a District 11 kid out of the Lehigh Valley. I thought he would be a little better this year. Maybe it's gaining the weight. I don't know. I mean, Princeton's a hard school academically.
Sure.
There's a lot of stuff going on there. Montalvo out of California. His wrestle I've seen a couple times, but in person he looked pretty good. After Weiler gassed, I'm giving Stefanik the edge.
Yeah, I would. If I'm Princeton, I'm expecting a win here.
Yeah,
absolutely expecting a win here if I'm Princeton. So if they get this match, they get 74. We're giving them 57. 65 is a toss-up. There's some matches in here in a row that Princeton could come out with. Now, they're going on the road. They're flying to Oklahoma State. It's going to be tough. But there are some winnable matches here. Absolutely.
And if it's Joe Smith, I'm giving it to him.
Yeah.
So that's, one of the guys I wish, I think he's a senior this year, and I feel like we've barely gotten to see him wrestle as a wrestling fan. So,
yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. Going up then to 97.
Probably the match of the night.
Yeah, the match of the night. So Dakota Gear for Oklahoma State. Looks like he's going to stay at 97 versus Pat Brucky from Princeton. And, Brucky does own a win over him. I think, was it last year at Nationals? No.
It was January of last year, so it would have been probably the dual meet.
The dual meet. And, in my mind, Brucky, would be higher ranked than him, but I'm not sure Brucky is 100% right now.
Okay.
So I'm a Brucky fan. I actually like Gear too. I like both their styles. Yeah. But my goal is to get in shape and take Pat Brucky down in life. And
good luck with that.
So, but I'm not sure he's 100%. I hope that he is. I know that last week he didn't look quite himself. I also know that one of the things that Coach Ayers talked about was maybe the team was last year. I think they thought that they underperformed at NCAAs and they may have been a little bit tired. They may be taking it a little bit easier earlier in the season, so the team is fresher at the end of the year. I don't know. I know there have been a lot of teams that have been sick this year, but this should be a pretty good. Both guys are really good from neutral. I think Brucky has a better level change than Gear. I think that Gear is probably better on the mat than Brucky. I think it's going to be a really good match. And So I wrote down the score. It was 8-4 last year.
It was, correct.
Sounds like 4 takedowns and 4 escapes to me, if I know Brucky. Right. So maybe Gear was not able to ride Brucky. And the real question is if Brucky is feeling 100%, if he can finish on some of those penetrations and shots.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Brucky this year, and I did not know that he wasn't 100%, but if you look, Princeton Open, he had a tech fall, and then he medical forfeited out of his next 2 matches. And so then we didn't see him for another 3 weeks against Lehigh, and where he beat Jacobson 7-4. But, the Gear majored Jacobson. So, you might certainly probably onto something there. I didn't know that, but I assumed Brucky would be full strength, and I would have certainly given him the win at that point. Like you said, 8-4 last year. I'd like if Brucky could avoid getting taken down and being on bottom against Gear, because he's pretty dang good on top, that's for sure. Without knowing full strength, I mean, I think Brucky has to be 100% to win this match, and without him being 100%, it'd be interesting to see what happens. But I'm going with Brucky on it. I'm going to stay with Brucky.
Good early season test for these guys. I think Brucky is going to be bigger than him. I know Gear wrestled 90. I mean, he's been all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm giving the edge to Brucky. Going up to 285. Princeton's got the freshman. I'm assuming it's going to be Aiden O'Connor versus Austin Harris.
Just Connor. Just Connor.
Oh, did I say O'Connor?
Yeah.
Connor, Aiden
Yeah.
Connor, and Austin Harris. It's not easy being a big guy as a true freshman.
Certainly not.
And they both have wrestled Lehigh, and I'm pretty sure that Wood had a bigger win over Connor than he did Harris.
Correct. Yep. So it was a major decision of 13-2 over Connor, and he beat Harris by 9-4. So certainly, just that one result, you're giving the nod to Harris. I think it's Harris is certainly not lit up the world, and I think it's probably the weakest weight class for Oklahoma State. But like you said, being a freshman, really a true freshman at 285, it's not an easy task in the D1 wrestling.
Absolutely. So to wrap it up, I think like Princeton if they walk out of that gym, Gallagher, whatever, IGA.
Iber.
Yeah.
Iber Arena.
Yeah, that's it. GIA. If they split 6-4, winning 4 matches, I think that's like a pretty good showing for them traveling.
It's funny. It's funny, Mike. I was just looking at this match without breaking it down like we just did, and I was originally thinking it's going to be a long night for Princeton. But as I look at it and break it down, and I don't know if it's just me being more of a Jersey guy and wanting to see Princeton win, but I'm seeing a lot of matches that are winnable for Princeton. A 5-5, 6-4, breakdown, or I should say split of matches is certainly possible, but that's everything going, I think, Princeton's way. And
absolutely.
So, I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd probably put my money on Oklahoma State, but I think it's a match that Princeton could get. I probably won't say that in the Ohio State breakdown or the Iowa breakdown. So.
Yeah. So a good night for me. Princeton wins 4 out of the 6. A good night for Oklahoma State. They win 9 out of 1. And to me, a push would be kind of 8-2 split, something like that. So it'll be a good test, I think, for a couple of those guys. I mean, we talked about Monday traveling. D'Angelo and Llewellyn. I'm looking forward to that one. Looking forward to Brucky and Gear. And Glory and Piccinini. I think it's a good test early season to see where these guys are at and against people that they've wrestled before, or in most cases. So looking forward to the duel. Right after that, Princeton gets on the plane the next morning, flies home, and Sunday they host Iowa. It's at 2:00, I believe.
Yeah, I believe you're correct.
So I'm leaving my son's dual meet at 12 o'clock. And, we talked about it a little bit earlier. 5 years ago, it doesn't matter who you are. You would never have thought Iowa would travel to New Jersey just to wrestle Princeton. They're not.
Correct.
It's not like they're wrestling Rutgers as part of the Big Ten schedule. They're coming to raid Jersey talent and face Princeton. And, we talked about the separation at the top. Princeton maybe being number 10 in the duels, Iowa probably number 1, and we just saw what Iowa did to number 5, Wisconsin. They smashed them. So this is not going to be anything easy, and I'm sure Coach Ayers would rather have had a couple days rest to get ready for this, but you take Iowa when you can schedule them, when they're willing to come to you, and it's pretty exciting, I think, for New Jersey wrestling fans, for East Coast wrestling fans to get to see Iowa. I mean,
it should be good. Like you said, New Jersey fans. I hope the New Jersey fans come out to Princeton to see that match. Friday night like we said, we got Princeton at Oklahoma State. Ryder's going to be at Bloomsburg. Saturday, Maryland's going to be at Rutgers. But Sunday. So you got Ryder at Central Michigan, but Rutgers isn't wrestling. High school's not wrestling. I'd like to see a good turnout to Princeton to watch that match and support Princeton.
Absolutely. Wait, is CMU at Ryder?
I thought Ryder was at CMU,
okay.
But
all right.
Maybe I'm wrong, and I should check that schedule. So
I got someone covering that, so I hope they're at home. But I'm
Oh,
not
then
sure.
you're probably more correct than I am. So
Yeah, so fans get out to see this, and for fans of a certain age, Iowa still has a mythological kind of connotation in wrestling. So anybody over 50, when they think of college wrestling, they think of Dan Gable, they think of Iowa. Get out and see the team because they're really good this year. This is probably the best Iowa team in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and probably going to be as good, if not better, next year. So it's
could be. So the one question in my mind going through this is, are they going to wrestle Spencer Lee? I know they've got a special schedule for him. I know that there's the what's coming up in Dallas in December. It's one of the qualifiers.
Sure. Yep.
And I'm hoping that Spencer Lee is there because I'd love to see Lee versus Glory again. And last year I know they wrestled a couple times, and everybody was like, "Oh, Lee looked great getting teched." And then was it the next match? It looked like I'm sorry. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah.
Glory then looked like he choked Lee out at one point.
Right.
In the second match, and I love both of these guys. I mean, I love Spencer Lee's mindset, and I love Pat Glory's mindset.
Yeah.
So I would love to see these guys get at it. I think the second match was a regular decision. You probably have your site right up in front of you.
12 to 6, yep. 12 to 6, the second match, yep.
Again, one of the things with Glory, that sudden victory match over Paetzel just makes me wonder if he's ready for Spencer Lee. And Lee is one of those guys who has also been up and down during the regular season, and up and down only at the very highest echelon if your name is Sebastian Rivera or a few other people like that.
Piccinini caught him last year, pinned him in in duel. So yeah.
So I think the edge has got to go to Spencer Lee, but I'm looking forward to having a competitive match there to open up the duel.
Yeah, I think if it's Lee, so far I like what I see of him this year. And 2 of his 3 matches, the one against Chattanooga was a little surprising, but since then he's really turned it on. Unfortunately, I think if Lee's there, he's going to be up for the match, and I think I think you could see another major decision for Lee in this one if it's Lee personally.
Gotcha. And
I think he's going to be on fire this year, and I thought last year, but then again when he won it as a freshman, beating Soriano in the finals, I thought coming into last year no one would touch him, and obviously we saw guys touch him and make it close. But I don't know. I feel the same way as I did last year. This year, that I think Lee's going to do some special things this year.
I agree. And if he is not there, if they're resting him or he's training freestyle, I think it's the Yankee GM Brian Cashman. No, Aaron Cashman. And I would see Glory getting bonus points there because I'm not
easily, absolutely bonus points. I could see a tech fall pin there personally. Yeah,
and that would be huge for the a huge way for Princeton to open up the duel there with bonus points.
Yeah, and we probably should have mentioned, even if we should have maybe mentioned the last podcast, that how they do the picking of the weights this year, or what starting weight I should say. It's different than last year where it was just a coin flip in the middle of the match. You're at the weigh-ins, and hopefully I get this right. At the weigh-ins, they're flipping a coin, and the winning team gets to pick what match they're going to start at, or if they want to pick what match they get to pick top, bottom, neutral, prefer first. So I think most of the times you're going to see teams pick the starting weight class. So you'll see more this year than I think in the past. Teams not starting at 125. I'm a traditional guy. I like starting at 125, going up to 285. But I think you're going to see, and you are already seeing more matches not start at 125. So yeah. I think that's, I think you're trying to see, you're seeing guys, if I win the toss, I want to pick the starting weight of the guy that I think you're cutting the most weight. So I think you're seeing a lot of strategy like that. I just wanted to mention that.
Yep. And it's slightly different than it was explained to me, but it makes more sense. So I'll be curious to see if we start at 25. It'd be a great way to open up the match if it is Princeton, if Lee is not in the match. So right. 33 again, we don't know if it will be Sean Pearson for Princeton, but
Right.
we're pretty sure it's going to be Austin DeSanto, who is coming in probably as the number one seeded guy or number one ranked guy in the country. Just knocked off Wisconsin's Seth Gross. So whoever Princeton puts out there, I don't know if they're going to be able to stop his onslaught.
I don't see it. Certainly not.
So, to me, it's either a tech fall or a fall for DeSanto.
Yep.
So,
you'd have to think so. Yeah, you'd have to easily give him that. Yep.
And if you haven't seen DeSanto wrestle in person, it's just one of those things you got to go watch. This guy, when there's been a lot said about his mindset and his maybe emotional immaturity, but this guy's got a single focus when he is out there, and looks like he's diversified his offense a little bit this year, which is great. But even Division I coaches have shown off their bruises from him grabbing onto your arm and holding on to it. Last year, I think it was 2 years ago, we were talking after a bout, and I just said, "Hey, grab onto me." And I have old man strength, 100 pounds on that guy. Kid's got a grip, and that's one of the low-hanging fruit of any college wrestler. Strong grip just helps you right away. Holy
that's
cow.
amazing. Yep, something little like that really goes a long way. And he's phenomenal, fun to watch, always looking to score. You certainly know he's been crazy at times, and I think that might be a little bit more under control now, and I hope it is for his sake. But he's got a ton of talent, and coming back to the area somewhat for him because
totally.
So I think he'll probably have a lot of fans out there as well.
Absolutely, it's less than 45 minutes, I bet, maybe an hour from his house.
Gotcha.
So, going up to 41, we were speculating whether it's Marshall Keller who will get the start or Darcy. And versus number whatever Max Murin is between 10 and 20, I believe.
Yeah, and he might even be because he beat Moran, so he's probably in the top 10, maybe even top 8 at this point. So he's right up there. And there was some speculation that he might be missing a little bit of the season with injury, but we saw him last week against Wisconsin, or just Sunday, a couple days ago against Wisconsin. So I think we'll no reason to think that we won't see him again here. So,
and you got to think bonus points here. If he's in the lineup, it's bonus points.
Yeah, actually, Keller and Murin did wrestle last year, and Murin got the pin. So
there you go.
You're certainly thinking major tech fall or pin. So definitely bonus points.
We'll see how much Keller has improved from his true freshman year if he is out there and if he can keep his motor going. But that's a tough task, and the turnaround from Oklahoma State. So going up to 49, I'm looking forward to this one. Pat Lugo comes in, probably top 5, and Mikey D'Angelo's coming in top 10. I'm not sure what you said. Was it 8 from the last match?
Yeah, I think it was somewhere like that 10 range. You think I remember that? It was a half hour ago. But so if I'm looking at this, he was 11.
11. So to me, this is one of the marquee matchups again after the Glory Lee match. 2 highly ranked guys. We'll see how much D'Angelo has improved with his gap year, and Lugo is a real quality guy, and he's transferred. He's been in that Iowa room now for I think 2 years since he left Edinboro. And
I think this is his third year because he redshirted that first year. Yeah.
So it should be a good match. I think that both of these guys are pretty good at neutral and scrambling positions, so it could be pretty entertaining. I look forward to. I hope we get to see this match materialize because to me, these guys could be the most wide open, equally matched guys. I think in the in this duel.
Yeah, I think I don't. There's no reason why we shouldn't see this match. I think certainly will. And look, I think D'Angelo has the most to gain this weekend with 2 really good opponents, and he can make not that he needs to make a name for himself, but he could really solidify himself in the rankings and set himself up for a better seed come postseason time.
Yeah. The edge has to be, I think, with Lugo right now.
It has to be with Lugo, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And if he wants to make a statement, maybe he opens it up. And if he doesn't, if D'Angelo has a really good weekend, he's a top 5 guy this year.
Yeah.
Going up to 57, Iowa will have Caleb Young, and this is another quality marquee matchup. Quincy Monday,
Absolutely.
and Monday, just like D'Angelo, most people know Monday's name because of his father. He's got a brother wrestling in North Carolina, Kennedy. But Quincy, if he has a good weekend, he's going to be top 3 after this weekend. And
if he could win both these matches, absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure Young beat him last year. Do you have it up in front of you?
Yeah. He beat him 7-4.
7-4.
7-4. This is a different Monday, though. I think a much improved Monday.
I agree.
Caleb Young did lose to David Carr, which hey, David Carr is going to he's going to be right up there come March in the probably top 3 in the country. So. Certainly not a bad loss, but he did lose 6-1 to him. So he kind of got shut down in that match. And his other 2 matches, guys that we have ranked over 100, and because WrestleSet just ranks everyone, we rank everyone. So we got guys ranked over 100. So it's a match that you got to favor Young. He beat him last year, but it's a match that I think Quincy Monday should have circled on his calendar.
Yeah, well, I'm on the Monday train. I'm taking Monday. I think he's improved a lot. I think his length and his scrambling ability could be a problem for Young. We'll see what happens. So going up to 65, we're assuming it's probably Grant Cuomo. I don't know if he's related to the New York Cuomos, but and he's facing the Bull, Alex Marinelli. Could be Dale Tianson. We'll see what happens. Marinelli is looking tough this year. This guy, I like his style. I watched him Matt side wrestle Richie Lewis a couple years ago, and even with that big knee brace, this kid is one of the quickest guys I have ever seen wrestle. His level change, if you're watching level changes, Alex Marinelli is just dynamite, and I know he's an Ohio guy, and I got a rivalry with those guys. But I like watching good wrestling, and his level change to me is fascinating.
Incredible wrestler. And if it is Tianson, Marinelli pinned him last year. I think it'll be Cuomo. I think whoever it will be, you're going to see I think you're looking at bonus points, possible pin for Marinelli. Did you catch the documentary on Big Ten Network?
I did.
After the Wisconsin match?
Did.
Wow, that was something, man. I certainly knew the story, but it's when you see it like that, put it to you that way, it's going to be hard to root against Marinelli this year.
Totally. I'm taking him with a tech fall.
Okay, I think he's a pinner. I'd see him with a pin.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Cuomo yet. I have not. But I'm just taking – I don't know why I'm taking that, but that's what I'm doing. All right, going up to 74, another Pennsylvania native for Iowa, Michael Kemmerer, up 2 weight classes and looks like he's completely filled in versus Kevin Parker. Kemmerer is he just looks tough. He's one of those guys who is a complete wrestler. He wrestles well from neutral. He wrestles well on the mat. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked it up on WrestleStat, but I'm pretty sure he's bonused. He hasn't wrestled a ton this year, has he?
No, he has not. Well, he's wrestled 3 matches. A fall, major decision, next fall. So,
okay. I'm going with bonus points for Kemmerer.
It'd be hard not to. I mean, he's a bonus type guy. Obviously didn't wrestle last year, but year before that, 63% bonus, 61, and then 73 is true freshman year in red shirt. So probably wrestled a lot of, not the best competition, but he's a bonus point guy, and it'd be hard not to pick him for bonus here.
Going up to 84, Travis Stefanik will wrestle either Cash Wilkie, who was nicked up, or Nelson Brands, who has made a kind of a statement the last week or so. Wrestling as I don't know what he weighs, but I thought at the beginning of the season he was listed as a 65-pounder.
Correct, on the roster from Iowa, yeah.
But the kid's got a motor and a mindset, and he's got what kind of blood do you call it? He's got high intensity, high motor blood. If Monday's got gold medal blood, Nelson Brand's got some intensity blood going on there. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on between the who will start there. But Iowa's got to be a serious favorite.
I feel like Iowa's trying to figure that out now, and I'm sure it's a hard position to be in. Cash is a senior, and you got the coach's son. I'm sure you're trying your best not to show favoritism, but you're looking to put the best guy out there. And what we've seen from Brands, he beat an All-American this year in Coleman. Let me just verify that before I just say stuff like that. I know he beat Colbray, but was Colbray was around the 12, so he wasn't an All-American. Around the 12 last year, we saw Cash Wilkie, lose to Sebastian. Sebastian's a quality guy, a highly recruited guy, but as we said, a lot of injuries in the last few years. A guy that hasn't hit the podium. He was around the 16 a couple of years ago. I think Iowa's trying to figure it out. I think they know that Brands is probably the best option for them, but I'm sure they're trying their best to give Wilkie as much opportunity as they can. Let him wrestle last match. I think you see Brands this match, and I think Brands is the real deal, and I expect him to win the match. I don't know if he'll bonus Stefanik, but I think he wins the match.
Agreed. Going up to 97. Another marquee matchup. Hopefully it materializes. Talk about a tough weekend. Pat Brucky's got a tough weekend, right? Oklahoma State gear, and then he's got Jacob Warner from Iowa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brucky, they wrestle 3 years ago?
Yeah, they wrestled December of 2017, and it was 4-2 Brucky. So
that was is Brucky a junior this year? Must be.
Brucky is a junior this year. Correct.
So that was his true freshman year.
Right.
And Warner, the thing that struck me about him last year was that while he's ranked in the top 5, top 10 this year, I don't think he beat anybody in the top 5 or 6 during the season last year. When I was at Nationals, I think he beat the 8 seed, the 9 seed. I think he beat Hokett. I think this is a pretty winnable match for Brucky if he is feeling well. He is 100%, but this is yeoman's work. 2 guys ranked in the top 10 back to back. It should be entertaining. If Brucky is feeling good, I think he can take Warner down. We see that he took him down probably 2 takedowns, 2 escapes as a true freshman. I can only see Brucky being better if he is 100%.
Yeah, I like Brucky in this match, and again, comes down to, like you said, 100%. Brucky was 4th last year in the NCAA's. Warner was 7th. So, they're, like you said, 2 quality guys. It's going to be a big weekend for Brucky. I like him in this match, though. So I like him in both matches. I hope he's healthy, and he's going to solidify his spot there atop the 197-pounders. Top 2. Probably won't jump Colin Moore. So.
And I don't think I mentioned earlier, Iowa does not have a Friday night match. So this is their sole event for the weekend. Going up to the big guys at 285, you've got Aiden Connor versus Anthony Cassiope, who has also kind of put his name on the map this year with some really dominating wrestling. And, he's who did he knock off? Hilger in Wisconsin?
He just knocked off Hilger 3-2 on Sunday night. Yeah.
Right, and Hilger was definitely higher ranked at that point. So
higher ranked All-American last year, took 8th last year. So I think Cassiope, everyone knew he'd be a higher ranked kid. He just, you have to earn that ranking. You don't just get put there. But last year in redshirt, as a redshirt, he was 20-2, 13-2 against D1 opponents. So, he's legit. I think Iowa fans are very excited for Cassiope, and I'd look for bonus from him here. I can see 6 here, to be honest with you.
So when we talked about that separation between 1 and 5 with Iowa, Wisconsin, 1 and 10 here, I think if Princeton walks away with 2 to 3 individual wins, it's a pretty good showing for them. I could see Monday. I could see Brucky and D'Angelo being possible wins, but the D'Angelo match is going to be tough.
Yeah.
They're all tough matches. And if Iowa comes in and blanks them, I would not necessarily be surprised.
I would agree. I hope it doesn't happen, and I really, like you said, though, I wouldn't be surprised, and that's all I can say about it. It's I'm looking for. I honestly think an 8-2 would be good for Princeton. Not good, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're saying.
It's I like this Princeton team and these Princeton coaches and wrestlers, but I think they got their hands full with Iowa. Absolutely.
Well, you can catch highlights of this match and interviews at True Wrestling, hopefully on Monday or Tuesday. It's a big weekend. You can catch any results at WrestleStat.
Yeah, we'll have them up there for you.
Anything else you want to talk about, Dan?
No, I think I'm good. Like I said, we got a few other. If you're a Jersey guy, you got Ryder Wrestling Friday night and Sunday, and I did confirm it is at Ryder, Mike. So you're correct. That match is at 1:00. So if you're correct with Princeton being at 2, you could hit both matches. They're only 10 minutes apart, I think. So
exactly, second closest D1
second
college
half of the
program.
Princeton match.
And you can catch highlights of that also on True Wrestling. Eddie Gallo's covering that for me.
Excellent.
Great time to be a wrestling fan. Great action. I don't think Central Michigan has been to Ryder before, and as the MAC increased and Ryder, I don't know what they're quite doing with their lineup right now. I know they've had some kids shifting around.
Sure.
Cephalo going up, but they. Jesse Delavecchia, it goes without saying that doesn't go without saying, he's had a really good start to the season for Ryder. He's knocked off Quincy Monday. He has knocked off, was it Josh Humphreys? And then he also won the Keystone Classic. So he is really, he is looking dynamite. I was watching him at the Classic. Was it the Virginia? No, App State. Zavatsky, maybe?
Yeah, Zavatsky from App State. He's a Jersey guy, by the way.
Jersey guy. He puts himself in some of the craziest positions. I know Delavecchia is a New York guy, close enough for me.
Absolutely.
He some crazy positions. I don't even know how he does it. I know he and Coach Bedleon just go for it. But he is just someone. I think he was he round of 12 last year, Delavecchia? He's someone to keep an eye on this year.
He was around the 16 last year. We just spoke highly of Quincy Monday a few times, and he beat Quincy Monday. I think you mentioned that earlier, that he beat him in the Princeton Open 4-2. So, he's a fun one to watch for Ryder.
Dude, if you like scrambling, I think Delavecchia might be the best at the NCAA level right now. I get queasy watching it because I don't think he's going to be able to pull it off. Like that finals match at the Classic, I thought, what the? No way. And then he got out of it. It was just, it was incredible scrambling. So
I mean, we have a Ryder winning 21-14, so there should be some really good matchups in there, and they're important matches for the conference now that Ryder's in the MAC, EWL and the MAC merge. So there should be some really good quality matches. Like you said, I think the plan originally was Cephalo to drop down to 25. Maybe that's not happening now. I did talk with the Ryder coaches, and I was told that there's really a 3-man race right now for 133. So we'll probably see Chris Wright this weekend, but we'll see about that. And we just talked about Delavecchia. He's gonna have a good opponent and a qualifier last year, Logan Parks. So that should be a good match. But I'd look for Delavecchia to win that match. And there should be a few decent matches in there, but I'd like Ryder in that match.
Yeah, and it's building on the momentum of their Midwest trip. Was it Northern Illinois, Minnesota?
Minnesota.
I think they took second at the Keystone Classic, and they didn't. I don't think they had their entire team entered.
Correct.
So they're off to a pretty good start, and I'm looking forward to the Princeton Ryder match. The Ryder Rutgers match. It's going to be there's some good stuff coming up.
There's going to be some dogfights in Jersey, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Hey, good talk, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Great. Nice talking to you, Mike.